Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Telescope Maker's Workshop. My name is Francis O'Reilly and I'll be your host today. I am reporting from my Socorro, New Mexico workshop, and I'm working on a 12.5-inch Buchroeder Quad Schiefspiegler. The curve for the Buchroeder Quad Schiefspiegler is a very, very shallow curve. My primary mirror is going to be f12 concave. My secondary mirror will match the radius of curvature, a 300-inch radius of curvature, however it will be convex. And in fact, I will use my tool. I'll simply, once I've finished my fine grinding, trepan the tool probably down to a 6-inch mirror or 6-inch blank, and then I will polish that, and by interference testing I will make sure that the curve on the secondary is the same as the curve on the primary. My progress has been extraordinarily slow. I'm looking for a curve with a depth of 0.0103 inches. And again, keep in mind, I'm an imperial guy, I am not a metric guy. I know the metric system, I'm just very comfortable dealing with the imperial system, and so that's how we'll be speaking. In any rate, at this point, after about 3 hours of rough grinding, I'm at about 0.0015 inches of curve, and it's not uniform over the mirror. I've reached out to those who are more knowledgeable than I, and it wasn't very hard to find. I reached out for Dick Parker, who is the mirror-making maven at the Astronomical Society of Greater Hartford. Dick, by email this afternoon, suggested that I put a 10-pound weight on the back of my mirror when I'm rough grinding to give it a little more speed in the grinding without taking too much away from the figure that I'm trying to attain, which is going to be a sphere at all purposes. Now, I'm really not going to spend a lot of time measuring for a sphere. I do have a Sharpie, but the Sharpie test is really of no interest whatsoever to me. I'm not going to use it. I just use the Sharpie to make marks on the mirror when I want to take notes. I will be using brute strength to grind this mirror. Remember also that I'm a lowlander. I live not too far from the Atlantic Ocean, 30 miles. Probably at best 1,000 feet above sea level. Right now in Socorro, I'm at about 4,500 feet above sea level. And the lack of oxygen relative to what I'm accustomed to does somewhat take its toll on my mental faculties occasionally, so I have to go a little bit slower. It's also, generally speaking, pretty warm here in my shop. I don't have air conditioning. In Socorro, people don't use refrigerated air. They use what we call evaporative cooling, also known as swamp coolers. I don't have one of those. So at Walmart this morning, I bought a fan, and that's what you hear in the background. I also have a 10-pound weight that I purchased at Walmart, and I'm going to use that on the back of my mirror to try to accelerate the rough grinding portion of the mirror making. You may have noted in prior installments that I was reaching into a bucket of number 80 grit, taking some out and sprinkling it on the tool, wetting everything down. I decided when I was at the grocery store last night picking up groceries for my wife to purchase a sugar shaker. And what I'm going to do is, what I did was I poured the number 80 grit into the sugar shaker. I marked the sugar shaker by Carver early 1900s. And now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pouring grit onto my tool, just wiping it off a little bit from the previous activity. I've been grinding a bit today. I want to be careful, don't want to get too much on. Sometimes less is more. Take my spray bottle. Not such a good spray bottle. It's a Home Depot spray bottle. It really doesn't give me a spray, it just gives me a fine stream. I don't want to wash all of my grit off, but I do want to get the top of the tool completely wet, as well as the grit. Wash down the top of my mirror, which is pretty heavy to begin with. Now I'm going to lift the mirror, carefully flip it over, carefully place it on top, take my 10 pound weight, place that on top, thumbs to hold it in place, back and forth, back and forth. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn it counterclockwise, take the clockwise step around the barrel. Always presenting a different radius of the mirror to the tool. And of course, as you know, the randomness will help to minimize zonal irregularities and give a relatively smooth surface. I'm not worried if occasionally I go 4 strokes or occasionally I go 2 strokes. I want that randomness to cancel out the human errors that you're definitely going to see with a human working on a big heavy piece of glass. Now this is a new process for me.